So this is a 20 millibit buy-in Saturday noon tourney on nitrogen. So 20 millibits these days is, how much is that, Grant? It's like $200, something like that.
It's something like that.
Yeah, because Bitcoin's gone up a bit. When we did this, it was probably more like $150, but so be it. Anyway, you can see Grant is 2 to my right over there. We're already a few hands in as we're about to start. And Grant has chipped up a little bit. I have not. It's very upsetting.
Familiar story.
Yeah. 3 to my left is Bapsaroni, who is Batiste, who you guys may remember from Poker Time videos, many Poker Time videos. We also have PDX Liz, who was in my first Tourney Journey video and also sometimes has played on Poker Time at least twice. So why don't we get going with this hand? It's pocket tens, Grant.
I think you should play it.
Okay, I'm going to play it. I don't know how yet. I don't remember any of these hands. It's been a little while. So you open, and it looks like we are going to put in the raise. Any thoughts on that before we continue?
Seems fine. We're deep. You want to isolate the fish in position?
Yes, I do. It's also one of those things where, like, just by calling here, like, Bapsaroni in the big blind is going to call so often when we're this deep, and seems like isolating is just a better play most of the time. It does suck to get blown off this hand, which is not impossible, but what are you going to do? No, it's not so easy for Baps.
Baps likes to 4-bet. Specifically, he likes to 4-bet us.
Yep, so. He is really interested in outplaying us, and he's good. So, he can. He has the ability to outplay us. Is a 4-bet incoming? Yes, it is. I did not remember any of this. It's been too long.
Am I going to 5-bet? That would be exciting. No.
That would have been pretty awesome. All right, so this seems to me like there's only one real option here. Do you agree?
To call?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could fold, but knowing him, because you don't have the right implied odds if you think you're behind. But knowing who you're against, I think you kind of have to call.
I mean, I'm in position and I have a good enough hand that I think I have to call because I can be behind sometimes, but I mean, he has ace king here, right? I mean, so I can be ahead of some of his range, I think. Like, I don't think he only has aces and kings and maybe queens. So I feel like I have to call pretty much no matter what against this player. Maybe there's a few guys who I know I'm behind by and actually I'm always losing to here and then can actually fold, but I don't think that's true for him. Anyway, let's see what happens because I do not know. Very exciting. I'm pretty sure I'm going to call. Yeah.
Yeah.
I generally default to calling here. Hey, that's a great flop for 2 10s, don't you think, Grant?
Is that supposed to be poker humor? It's not.
It's sarcasm, bro. It's not poker humor. It's universal.
You do have a backdoor flush draw and a backdoor straight draw. Some would
true.
call
I wish
two backdoors.
It'd be nice to be a lot deeper. If we were way, way, way deeper, this would be a perfectly fine hand to be able to, play on further streets. But it's going to be tough, man. I assume he's going to c-bet here. It's going to be really tough to continue if he c-bets when we're just the stack to pot is what it is.
Yeah, this is just a fold.
Seems like it, right? I mean, he's wide enough that I guess I could call sometimes, but I feel like I should probably fold. Let's see what I do. I think I should just fold. I could see myself talking myself into calling, though. But he's probably, when he 4-bets, I just fold.
And if you call.
What'd you say?
What's your plan if you call? Can't be a
Hope
good
he
plan.
checks the turn and bet.
Yeah.
That's the plan. Hope I pick up, the queen of hearts and he doesn't have pocket queens. I don't know. It's not a good plan. And as you see, I did fold. It doesn't seem great. If we could be, if I could have 70,000 in front of me and he could too, it'd be an easy call, I think, where I can be ahead and I have a lot more room to make plays down the road. Anyway, I lost, so we move on. Very painful loss.
So you're 2.5xing even at the 100 big blind level.
Yeah, I decided what the hell. I've been doing that more. Live poker, I still 3x here, but hey, cool. By the way, we see a flop.
Oh, man.
4 ways, and we flop really well.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And it's the kind of board I would normally see bet anyway. I mean, four ways maybe not, but since I actually have a hand, the king
I mean,
high
this is
nature
a
of it is pretty good.
obviously you're just going with this, but the hands you're getting it in against all have you beat right now, except for the nut flush draw or like 9-10 of spades, I guess.
Yeah. Jack 10 of spades,
Yeah,
6-5 of spades.
combo
There's a
draws,
few.
can't combo
Yeah.
draws, but mostly you're getting it in against 7-8 suited or sets if you
Yeah.
get it in.
No doubt. But 7-8 suited, I can live with at least. I've got reasonable equity against that. Not as great against sets, but like you said, there's just no folding this hand. So we're
This is
just going
also
to go with
still
it.
the re-entry period, right? So you could always re-enter.
But I don't even care about, but forgetting about that, this is just a hand that you just don't flop this well very often, and you just can't fold a hand like this, I don't think. Maybe if this was, the one drop $1 million buy-in, I could make some crazy fold. But it ain't. Oh god, we were 5 ways in this hand. Jeez. Let's see what the turn brings. Turn brings kind of a total brickatola there, bro.
Yeah, you're often behind one of your opponents at this point, but that doesn't mean you should be looking to get out of the hand. It's just kind of crappy to flop so well and usually being behind at least one opponent.
I think I disagree. The only hand I'm reasonably losing to here is King Queen.
Yeah, and it feels really likely that one of them will have that versus, I mean, maybe one of them has a different flush draw, one of them has King 10. That's the dream
Yeah.
scenario, but
I mean, it's not so
I
bad to
don't
be
know.
up against King Jack either, where I'm free rolling him.
True. There's just more combos of King Queen available because players are more likely to play King Queen off than King 10 off.
That's true. That's fair. But like that's the only hand I think that I'm losing to reasonably because like Ace King isn't out there or shouldn't be. And two pair I believe is raising at 5 ways, like on the flop almost always. So I feel pretty good about it. I think I should continue betting. Do you
I think
agree?
betting is fine. I think betting is fine. I just think we should temper our expectations for the hand.
No, forget that, man. Let's go. Let's go for it. So I size up here because double flush draw. There's straight draw stuff going on with the 7-8, and it just seems like that's the kind of board you'd bet bigger on. So I bet bigger. You like that?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay.
I hope Liz doesn't raise because you're often
Yeah,
behind if Liz raises with one card to come.
agreed. Hey, here's an interesting card on the river.
Yeah, I mean, if this is actually a good card, I think, because if Costco had King Queen, you were already losing, and this just makes it combinatorially less likely that Costco has King Queen. So that's actually good. I
Mm-hmm.
think you have to ask yourself what type of player this is, and if you don't know, you have to try to make kind of a default assessment as to whether this player is likely to bluff if they have a missed draw versus call with a weaker king or like ace 8 or something, which they should
Yeah.
probably have folded on the turn.
Yeah. I think because of the relatively wet nature of the board, I think I think I like a check better than a bet here. That's my inclination anyway. I think I checked too. It's been a long time. It's been probably 2 months since I played this tourney, but I think I actually did check. But I think I like a check also. Do you like a check better? Because I don't think I know anything about Costco at this point.
I think I like a check better. You don't want to. I mean, like you could make the plan to bet fold and then get outplayed. That
Yeah.
could also happen where they decide to raise for a random reason that doesn't make any sense, but still it would work. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a check is probably better.
Yeah. And if they check, if they have like 9-10, they're just gonna have to go for it sometimes, right? And like miss spades, just gonna feel kind of obligated to go for it. I think, at least some of the time. Oh, there's the ace 8 of hearts though. Probably get a fold anyway, even if I bet though.
Yeah, it's a hand that makes sense for that player to call both streets and then check back the river.
Yeah.
It's it's unlikely to get a third call. I think
Right. I agree.
checking was the only way to potentially get value, and I don't think there was no way to get value from that particular hand at all.
Yeah, I think you're right. That queen makes it even harder to get value, but I probably don't get value even if a brick comes. That's complete brick. I mean, all right. I don't remember this hand. We'll see
Looks
if
like
this
it's
is
the very
actually
next
something I
hand.
forgot to cut out or
Great
for. We're gonna
professionalism.
find out. Oh no, no, no! Look, we flopped something. It's okay. We're open ended. Everything's good. I'm betting. This is on purpose.
It's good. It's a good hand to bet. You can easily rep a 7, having just checked in the big blind, and you clearly have equity against almost everything. So
Yeah.
makes sense to bet.
Same guy calls. All
Not
right.
the
So
best turn
now
card,
this
but
is the thing that. Go ahead.
you can keep repping a 7. I think it
Yeah, I
makes sense to
can.
rep a 7.
I mean, also, it's sort of a weird, like, what's my plan to check call out of position with 9 high? Doesn't sound great. I think I'd rather bet than check. I hope I do. Let's see if I do. Back and forth. Can't decide. I checked.
Maybe you're going to go for a check raise.
I doubt it.
No, checks back.
He checks back. Now he has an
Whatever.
8 like all day, right?
Well, this is, I don't know. You're not telling a very good story if you bet here.
Well, if I could have a king, I could have turned to king, and I'm checking now because he can have a 7. I could have a good
You
8.
you bet into like 11D players on the flop. What, you
Yeah.
just have a
No, you're
random
right.
king deuce or
The only
something.
reason the reason to bet right now is to get him off Jack 10 and 9-10, right? I mean, that's the value of betting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if
And
this
which,
player is a thinking player at all, they probably have to call with an 8 a lot of the time because your story is kind of bunk at this point.
yeah, agreed. So the question is it worth trying to get him off the better drawing hands? Or should we just give up since he's probably calling with an 8? Also, the pot's not big; it's not that expensive to call.
Feels like a give up spot to me.
I think it's pretty close. I think it's fine to give up for sure. Like, because I agree, it's probably better to just tell a story. It looks like I am going to. I'll say I'm betting small just to try and fold out those draws that have an auto fold. Like, I'm not trying to fold out an 8 here. Just trying to get Jack high to fold and 10 high to fold.
You're trying
I
to
don't know
say
if
you have a
combinatorially this is a good
7.
idea.
You're
What'd you
basically
say?
just saying you have a 7. You're basically just saying you have a 7 that you checked on the turn, which seems strange.
I'm saying I could have like ace 8.
Ace 8, huh?
Yeah,
Guess you could.
I bet an 8 on the flop, got called, don't know where I am. It goes check, check, and now I'm betting for value with a good kicker or something like that. I'm not saying it's a great story. Any 8 with a kicker over the 7 though plays. The kicker plays. So if I have like Jack 8, like he limped. If he has an 8 in his hand, he's calling if he has an 8 in his hand, don't get me wrong. But I could be betting for value against like 9-8 and 6-8 suited and 10-8 suited and stuff like that. I don't know combinatorially that he has enough missed draws that check back the turn that this is a good play. This may be a bad bet. Anyway, he does fold, so probably he had like the Jack high, like Jack 10.
So that's why you included it in the video. You're so proud of yourself. Got him to fold.
I just think it's an interesting decision.
Yeah.
Here's Grant.
Looking handsome. That avatar.
Yeah. So here we are. We got the limp and then the open from PDX Russ. Ace queen in the small blind. We are deep. Got 100 blinds here. What do you want to do?
Mostly 3-bet. I mean, it's not crazy to flat, but I think 3-betting is probably more profitable in the long run. Something like 2,600, 2,800.
Yeah. I think I agree. I like a 3-bet way more than a call here when we've got the limper under the gun who we've already seen is like limping with probably Jack 10 and 9 or 9-10 suited or something like that. It's got a lot of weak stuff we can just push out. Like see, it looks like I'm going 24. I'm just 4Xing. Could go a little higher, I guess, because there's a limper too. But probably effectively it's going to all work the same. There he goes. And what is Russ going to do? This is one of those spots where we're going to have to fold to any kind of sizable 4-bet, which sucks.
It actually kind of sucks if he makes it small enough that you have to call too, because
I know.
luckily he didn't. But then you're like, well, it's really hard for me to win this hand now. If you made it like 5,000, forced you to call.
Dude, I played in a few years ago. I was playing in an 1,100. You played in this event too, I think. The $1,100 Binions event, like 2 years ago during the World Series, and I 3-bet ace queen from the small blind, and the cutoff had opened, and he clicked it back, and it was like he clicked back to it ended up being like 20% of my chips, and I was like, I guess I have to call. Like, I just have to, don't I? Like, what am I gonna do? Like, fold this hand, getting this price? It's insane. I block aces. I don't know. Let's see if we can flop top pair and then go broke. But I missed and folded, and it felt really weird. The click back 4-bets, man. It's brutal. All right, here we are. We got a full table. Now Wonka's at the table too.
Wonka from Poker Time.
Yep. Three Poker Time people in a row there. Babsaroni, PDX, Liz, and Wonka. Wonka has never looked that dapper in his life, I'll tell you.
That's just an unnecessary shot taken. I don't see why you would do that to a good friend of yours, but it's
Whatever.
fine. I'm sure he'll be okay. I'm sure he won't
I'm sure he
worry
will.
about it too much.
So what do you think? Put in a big squeeze bet, big squeeze
I
race here?
mean, if you make it 7,000, they're usually both gonna fold. But I think it's probably preferable just to call, get it given the price you're getting here.
I'm in agreement with you for sure. We don't have a blocker. And in fact, I do call. Oh, we flop sort of an interesting hand. One of these,
Yeah,
like,
a nine's not amazing, but it
yeah,
might be good.
might be good. One of these hands where every time I improve from where I am right now, the board gets scary too. And we're out
Yeah,
of position to two players who are, you know, good, reasonable, understand the game. Liz, though, does like to fire away. We know that.
she definitely seems to have a high C bet percentage.
Yeah. So, oh, and
I
Wonka
don't love
flats.
I don't love this spot. I mean, you probably have to call, but like if a nine comes and another bet comes in, are you gonna call again?
I don't know, quite frankly. Uh, it would probably depend. Like, if a nine comes and Liz checks and Wonka bets, I'm probably more apt to fold. If Liz bets again, I'm a little more apt to call, but I might just fold anyway. It'd probably depend on sizing and I don't know what I ate for
I
breakfast
mean,
that morning.
you have to hope that Liz has such a high C bet frequency that she actually has nothing to do with this board. Like she has ace four of spades or something like that, where like this is a board that a lot of players who have thought the game through are going to check when they get two callers, and
Yeah.
easily this hits a lot of different types of hands. So I don't know. Liz has to have kind of air, and Wonka has to have a draw that doesn't improve. I feel like this is actually a fold.
Right now or on the
Yeah,
turn?
right now.
Wow. It
What are you
seems
hoping? What are you hoping they have?
Wonka can have hearts, Liz can have, you know, overs, all the overs which are straight draws.
Yeah, I
Um
suppose. I mean, I just feel like if
Wonka
Liz
can
has
have go ahead.
if Liz has boards that she's not going to see bet on, which she has some. I mean, I
Yeah.
know she has a high C bet frequency, but if she has boards she's not going to see bet on when she misses, this is one of them. This is the type of board.
I mean, I hear you, but at the same point, this isn't horrible for her range. There are way worse boards than this for her range. Like, 5, 6, 7, all diamonds is way worse. That's the kind of board
Sure,
she should
but
really
I
not be
don't
c
think
betting
that's
on for sure.
I don't think that's what's important in this exact scenario. It's how often is she going to get it through? I mean, like it's
Yeah.
completely unprofitable to bet ace four of spades here, right? Like you can't do it.
I would check ace four of spades for sure. I agree with you. I mean, I'm not ahead of that much here. I'll agree with you there, but I'm beating, like, if Wonka can have like 8, 9 suited or pocket nines, Liz can have king queen or ace queen. Obviously, equity wise, I'm not doing great either.
And that's
That
the best
said,
case scenario.
yeah, I mean, Liz can have aces, Wonka can have a set, and I can, make a straight also. Like, I have outs often, not always. I'm getting almost 4-1 to close the action.
This is a
I don't
spot where
know, man.
I want to get out. I just want to not be part of this
It's
situation.
it's not a good situation. I'll agree with you there. I don't know what I do. I do fold.
Hey, looks like
And the
you
nine comes right in, but it's the nine of hearts. What a scary card. I probably have to fold that anyway.
if Wonka bets you would fold, I'm sure.
Yes. If it goes check, check, I'm going to be sad though. Oh,
It
no. No, no, no. Why? Why did it have to happen?
no matter what happens, I like the fold.
Yeah, no, I do too. I think I like it too. It's close, but I think I like it too. Sucks to overcall there where everything's bad. Almost everything's bad. And it's hard to get more value when I hit, if I improve anyway, like we're saying, even if I'm ahead. I hope Wonka calls so we can see if we were ahead or behind.
He might be raising. He's taking a long time here.
No,
Now
he
he
just
folds.
folds. He had
Is she
like
going to show it? Nope.
no.
You were probably folding to that anyway, right?
If it checks through on the turn, I don't know.
Either way,
Probably. I don't know.
I like
Liz
the
Liz
fold on the
takes a lot
flop.
of shots, man. She takes a lot of
You,
shots.
you might have ended up folding what turned out to be the best hand in the end, but I think overall that was the right move. It was more
Yeah,
profitable.
I think it's probably more profitable out of position of two good players. She decides to bet when Wonka calls too. Wonka's got like a lot of good hands there. Like he just does. Like I'm just beat a lot there. Heads up, it's a really different story, but it wasn't heads up. All right, so here we are. We're moving on. We got pocket tens.
Looks like it's 3-betting time.
It feels like it's mostly three betting time here. We're gonna have to fold to a big four bet if we do put in the three bet, but this hand is, I mean, you could call once in a while, I guess, but I like a three bet. And in fact, looks like I did like a three bet. Dude, this is old school sizing too. Look, he min raised and I 5x'd. That's what we used to do back in the day, like in 2012.
Maybe you've recognized that this player is folding to 3-bets no matter what the sizes are, or you're just happy to isolate with this hand.
Um, yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I think this guy was playing a lot of hands, like a lot, like a crazy amount of hands. So isolating seemed pretty good.
Not your favorite flop.
No. Do you want to bet or check here?
I want to bet just because it makes the hand easier to play. If
Yeah.
even if he's playing a lot of hands, he can rep a ton of aces. He can have any suited ace and ace 10 off plus maybe even ace 9 off when you sized it the way you did pre-flop. So I
Mm-hmm.
think I definitely think I want to bet and just make it easier to play. Bet small.
Okay.
It's dry board. Bet like 1200.
This is a board we would usually bet. So that's a reason to bet for sure. Certainly you want to bet really small. I think, yeah, you said 1200. That's, as you can see, I'm sizing it up to exactly that amount. And we win. We just had the best hand all the way there.
He could have folded jacks, I guess. It's possible.
For 1200, maybe.
Seems unlikely. It seems
Yeah.
unlikely.
Here's 10-7 again because I love this hand. I'm a big 10-7 guy. Me and Negranu.
He likes it suited though.
Yeah, he changes his mind a lot. He's like the weather.
The weather
Anyway,
changes
just
its mind.
the weather changes a lot. What is that crazy? Anyway, so I look. I'm over starting stack. And if I make this call, I'm going to be under. So I have to fold here, right?
Yeah, keep that
Yeah.
profit. The Phil Lock method.
So as you see, PDX list open. Satoshi calls, and Satoshi here on the button is someone who, Grant, you played with a lot, and you feel
Yes.
is really good, right?
I mostly feel is really good. I've
Okay.
recently seen some stuff that makes me think not as good as I once thought. Just some like fundamental mistakes. Easy example being I had 12 bigs in the big blind and it was folded to Satoshi in the small blind and they shoved. I called with King 10 and they ended up having 5-7 off. Just felt like a big snap shove mistake. Like
Hmm.
you're really not supposed to do that for 12 blinds. And so
Got it.
there's maybe some fundamentals missing, but that said, it's a tough player to play against too. Puts a lot of pressure on and seems to understand whose board is whose and ranges and stuff like that.
I will say that Satoshi is someone who's going to be involved in a lot of hands throughout this video. It's going to be like on this. It's going to be there a lot anyway. So I'm going to play a few key hands against him. Hey, look, we flopped okay this time though, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, sort of okay. Like a open ender where if we get improved, no one's ever going to give us a chip. No one's ever going to give us anything. But
That is correct.
okay, so Liz bets 1200 into 29. How do you want to play this out of position?
I think
She
we
opened
can
from
put
the
in a
cutoff.
raise. I think we can put in a raise. We can rep all the
Yeah.
two pairs.
Yeah.
We can rep made straights right now. Liz could
Yeah. I
have a
like
strong hand, but like we can just raise and fold to a re-raise if
Yeah,
we
I
get
think I like that
more
best
action.
too. Again, no idea what I did, but I like a raise here too. We have all the two pairs, like you're saying. We have straights. We have pairs and straight draws that we're going with. She, as we know, is going to see bet a huge percentage of the time. So she can have like so many things here. She opened the cutoff. It's a wide range. I like raising, like cleaning this up right now. And once in a while, we're going to get blown off it, but that's okay. Our equity isn't that great anyway. Looks like I am sizing up a raise here, I'm happy to say. And there it is. And You know that feeling you get when someone like check raises you and you really hope they fold? Oh no, Liz didn't have that feeling. I thought she was going to fold and have that feeling, but I guess not.
Well, now you're getting a really good price, but I think you should fold anyway
Because why?
because you could be drawing nearly dead to it. You could be drawing to a chop.
Yeah,
I mean, and like mostly a shove is coming on the turn, so you don't really have two cards. You have one card, like most of
that's
the
true.
time.
I am getting, let's see, almost, I'm getting 4.25 to 1. So I actually, if I was getting 5 to 1, I could actually, even 4 to 1 is enough, right? That I'm getting the right price to draw to one, just the turn. But if I'm drawing dead and I'm drawing to a chop or anything like that, that's not super. Like if an 8 comes and I lose my whole stack, that's not good.
Right. And what if and Liz has hands like Queen 10 and Jack 10 potentially in her range that
Yeah,
are
no
problematic for
doubt.
you as well.
Yeah.
I think it's just a get away from it situation.
I also
And
think
again,
because the 4,000, while it isn't that much relative to the size of the pot, it is a lot relative to the size of my stack. Like it's going to take out 22% more of my stack just to see one more card here. And I have so many hands that, as we were talking about, that I am going with here. Like this doesn't have to be one of them where I have to put more
yeah.
chips in. I think I like a fold. I agree with you. Let's see if I agree. At 2 months ago, Jonathan agrees. I
Or
don't
you're gonna
know. I
make it
see
11,000.
11,000. There's no way. There's no way I'm clicking it back to 11,000. I'll tell you right now. Like I'm either putting in a bigger raise or I'm folding. There's the fold. Yeah. It sucks to do that though, man. Oh, it sucks to check raise a draw and just not even get to the turn. you
Yep.
know, when you like could have just called and seen the turn, but oh well. Obviously, that's part of the deal sometimes. Here's a good
Hey,
hand
that's a good one.
as a pre-flop hand. Look how many chips you have and look how many chips I have. So screwed up, man.
It's kind of like the ratio of our poker skill level.
Yeah. All right, here's a fun little spot. So
I
I got
think
the
you could
min
just
raise.
jam.
Yeah.
Just put all the
So
chips
she
in.
suppose she puts in 20% of, I'm gonna say, her stack. I don't know if it's actually her, but based on icons. I think I do just jam because it's sort of like anything else I do is kind of obvious, right? Like any other
Yeah.
smaller raise, it's like, yeah, you obviously have it. Or if I flat, I have what I guess some people might put me on jacks, but still a really strong hand. Feels like
Yeah.
a jam is like the weakest thing I can do, you know,
And
where it's
probably
like,
the highest value thing because there's a lot of
yeah,
flops where you might be against pocket tens and the tens will fold on the flop or something.
yeah. There's the jam. I totally did it. And they just fold right away. But if Satoshi's gonna have some hands that she has to call with for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that jam makes it like Satoshi might talk herself into calling with some other hands that, because when I jam there, like I don't know, maybe ace queen, depending on the player. Some people will call it ace queen there. Two tens might just call it two tens there, stuff like that. Anyways, can't be too bad when you have the nuts. Oh,
It's
I
like
remember this hand. So now we're at the
this is the
final
final
table.
table. Yeah.
Yeah, Grant, you're still here, and you still have all. Are you the chip leader? No, you're in second in
No.
chips. God, I feel bad for you because I know you're not going to last.
Why would you give that spoiler?
I don't know. It's fun. So here we are under the gun with sixes, and we've got 44 blinds or so,
Yeah,
44 and a
this
half
one is a
blinds.
marginal open at best.
Yeah,
You could have just folded.
I agree. I totally agree. Especially where there isn't any really short stack though that can just jam on me, which is part of the. There's like a bunch of 15 blind stacks. I probably would just fold it. But like the
And
Satoshi over here is
three
the smallest stack with like almost 30 blinds, so it feels like safer. But I
three
agree.
players
I could
get
just.
paid, right?
What'd you say?
Three players get paid, right? So there's no ICM consideration yet, really.
It's either three. I think it's actually only two players get paid. Even I think this was still a two-player spot. I'm not sure. I think it's only two. So yeah, we're far away from any kind of worrying about ICM. So this is close. I certainly agree. I get flatted by Baptiste there. Baptiste on the who's +1, which what kind of range you
You
putting
already
him on?
you already hate it because like if you don't
Yeah,
flop a six, it's really hard to navigate. I mean,
agreed.
he's gonna have a bit of a wider range than most players, but I think he's got like 9-10 suited plus king queen off, maybe king jack's off, but probably king jack suited. He's going to have some pocket pairs bigger than yours. Probably not any smaller than yours, I would guess. Not too only at least. And
Yeah, I don't.
a little bit of like ace 10 suited type hands.
He might have some really big hands too. There's some players who are flatting their entire continuing range when under the gun opens when they're +1, and he might be one of
Yeah.
those guys. We sometimes see him do stuff like that on Poker Time with like pocket kings and things. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a different thing. It's a cash game, but I could see him doing that too. So he could. I feels like he has his range is way ahead of my actual hand. That feels clear, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'd rather have his hand than mine. This, however, this flop doesn't suck for my range, though. This is a good flop for my range.
Yeah, you have king jack suited, king queen off, and ace king. Obviously, he has fewer ace kings. You have way more king king than him. Obviously, I think you should just bet and hope to end it. Hope he has something like jack 10 suited and just lets it go.
Yep, I agree. I'm sure I bet this because how could I not? This is such a straightforward bet. And yeah, there I go. Just 800. Nice and cheap. Why put any more in? I have ace king, buddy. What are you going to do? Sucks for you. He does not fold. And we turn a
Well,
4. So we turn open ended, interestingly enough.
I think you're supposed to continue. I think he does have some pocket pairs between sixes and kings that he called the flop with and is going to fold the turn with. He does have
Yeah,
some kings that he's not going to fold right now, but I think it's easier to play this hand as a bet than a check call because you don't want to fold when you've picked up this equity.
exactly. I agree on everything you just said. Also, I have 10 outs to improve even if he has a king. Like, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
It's like pretty good. So it feels like a pretty straightforward continue. There's not too many cards I'm really going to fire away again on, I don't think. But this is one of them. So I size it up a bit now too. I'm like, all right, if you have pocket nines, time to go away. That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say. So let's see if that's going to work. Nope.
Nope.
And if he has pocket nines, now he has a big hand.
Well,
Okay,
I
so
guess
here we
the
are.
question is, do you want to rep? I guess if you bet again, you're repping king queen plus, but he has some ace king in his range. You might not bet king queen, so you're like definitively repping ace king plus if you bet again.
Yeah,
So
I think that's
it's like you're
exactly right.
saying you bet nines twice, you have threes, fours, or fives, you have king king or you have ace king if you bet. It's not it's a small swath of hands that you have for value.
Yeah, and if the thing is, if I check, I think I have to fold to a bet because what the hell am I beating, right? Like, there's no way I'm ahead, right?
Yeah, I
Like, I'm
think
basically just giving up.
this is a
Just
check
giving up.
fold. Just
Yeah,
check
I think
fold,
it
yeah.
is. I think it's just time to give up. I agree.
Maybe he could
So
have ace queen of clubs if you're super lucky and decide
that
not
would
to
be
take a shot.
amazing. Then he also has to not bluff it. I need a lot of. I do check. I am giving up for sure. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, you win this one, kid. Way to go. And I remember that he does check back. I actually remember this hand. I remember what he had.
Does he have tens or something? Oh,
Nope.
deuce four.
He has deuce 4 of diamonds.
What? Well, that's definitely a bit of a wider range.
Yeah.
I mean, that is like the poker time hand, right? Maybe he's playing these poker time ranges because Digital Dan loves deuce four for whatever reason, and it became kind of a thing on poker time for players to play deuce four. And
Yep.
he really wants to outplay you. So I think that's what was going on there.
I think so. But it's interesting that basically at any point, if he took an aggressive action, he's going to win this pot, Like, on the flop, if he raises with his open ender, I'm just going to fold. On the turn, if I don't know why he'd raise the turn, but he can call the turn. But on the river, deciding to check back where he's hoping I have like ace queen of clubs now, right? But admittedly, I am checking king queen to call. So, like, I'm not always folding if I check, but I'm surprised he never takes a shot with a 4 here where he just gives up.
Not that it would have been a good idea, but he probably could have won with a 3-bet pre-flop too.
Yeah, I think you would have won with a 3-bet pre-flop for sure. I think it's a better idea than flatting +1 with deuce 4 of diamonds. Personally, I'd rather 3-bet
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I don't really like doing anything with it other than throwing it away, though. Shocking, I know, but it seems a little out there. I mean, it's a really strange hand, and I remember checking the river and thinking like, "Oh man, this sucks to put all these chips in and just have to give up here and like fold to anything." any amount he bets, I just have to fold. Like if he min bets, I pretty much have to fold. Maybe I'll call, but like essentially just have to fold. And instead, I get to win this nice sizable pot here. This 21 blind, 22 blind pot basically, because I don't know, because he decided to play this hand. So that was pretty cool. That was helpful.
That'll keep you alive. Oh, but you've chipped down. But hey, Batista's gone. Oh, it's gone
No,
back
no,
to
no.
10
We're back
players.
to we were down to 9 and then we went back to 10 players. That so we were saying it was
Oh,
the
so
final table. It wasn't, I guess.
well, it was the final table, but the registration was still open.
Right, right. Fair enough. Anyway, here we are with sevens. You've already folded. You
This
still
is
have a
back
lot
in the
of
day
chips.
when this tournament had like 6 hours of registration back in the day. So
That's right. It was
that's been
crazy.
changed since. That's been
Yeah.
changed since.
So we open sevens and the cutoff. We get 2 callers. Everything's pretty normal. And here's the flop,
That's
which is not.
bad.
I mean, it's not good for 2 sevens. It is good for my range. Like I have ace king and they don't really. I have the nuts and they don't.
Sure.
That's good. I have queens.
You
They
could
don't.
just hope that you're ahead because that's really the only way that you're winning the hand if you bet.
If I bet one street, yes, I agree. But if I decide to like put pressure on, I'm the guy with ace king. So I do have. I mean, I really clearly have a nut advantage here, right?
This is you're not supposed to say that on the internet. Now we have to change the settings in YouTube when we upload this because
Yeah.
you said nut advantage.
Yeah. So I size it up here because of the super wet nature of the board, thinking maybe I can even fold out at 10 sometimes right now. Although really
Well, you
10s are
could-
going to have gut shots with them. So
yeah,
they're
you can
probably
fold
not going to fold.
10-7 out, but that's about it.
Yeah. Maybe, I mean, 10-8 suited. 10-8. I guess Satoshi could have some 10s that I could fold out, like the bad 10s. But Liz,
Yeah.
I can't fold out. I can't fold out any of Liz's pairs, I don't think, right now that are a 10 or better. I don't think. She does call. Satoshi folds. Fair enough. And let's see. Oh, we get a brick on the turn, though.
I mean, you really going to go for it? I guess you could try to fold
I
out
mean,
ace
I'm
jack.
pretty much always losing right now, right? Almost
Yeah.
always.
I mean,
And
Liz
I
could
have the nuts and she doesn't. I have a
she could
lot. I
have
have all
4
the
or 5
nutted
of
hands
hearts.
and she doesn't. What'd you say?
She could have hands like 4 or 5 of hearts that you're ahead of, I guess.
Well, forgetting about what I'm ahead of. I mean, like I have pocket queens, pocket tens, pocket jacks. She may have 0 of those. I have ace king.
Yeah.
She has 0 of that. I mean, that's pretty good. She didn't raise this super wet flop, so I guess she has some. She can still have 2 pair, but not. She has it less of the time. She's not capped at 1 pair, but she often only has 1 pair. I think she has a lot of
Yeah.
like. I think a bet is going to work a lot here. I got to tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she
I
has a
will
lot
say
of ace
this.
jack.
Yeah, if I'm wrong though, like look at the stack to pot. It's a real problem. Like
it
I'm going to
is.
need this to work if I take a shot at it. It looks like I am putting at least typing in a number. Yeah. This is the like I just have the nuts and you don't. What are you going to do about it? She calls again.
Nope.
So that's not great.
She called quickly.
Now we have like the pot is, 1.5 times my stack.
We're going to need a 7.
Well,
That's a bad card.
it's a bad card, but like now if we had ace queen, we have the nuts.
Yeah, you're basically telling the story of having ace queen if you bet again, or maybe aces.
Yeah, I think that's right. Maybe ace jack of hearts, ace x of
Yeah.
hearts, something like that. Maybe ace. No, not ace 5. I would check ace 5 on the turn. I think mostly. But I mean, Broadway is out there, and I know she's good enough to read the board. So if she doesn't have an ace, it's going to be really hard to call if I put in a big bet here. And I am. Let's see. Do I go all in? No. Looks like I'm going to make it 7,500. Oh yeah. I'm going for value bet. I don't want to make it look too scary.
Yeah, let's not pretend that this is so artistic, okay? It's just a bet. But hey, it worked.
It totally worked.
She
It's
must
hard,
have
man. What she's
had-
supposed to. It's a super tough spot for her, really, right? Like
Yeah.
if she doesn't have an ace, it's just really hard to call. If she has 2 pair, what's she supposed to do? And I think it's. I like that play. The triple barrel there. It looks super strong.
I really like how you recorded almost all of your screen, so we can sort of see what size you're making things. It's great.
Wait till you see later on when we're there's just a few of us left. Like one of the players, you can't see his cards every time. Like the player on the top, you can't see his cards. It really sucks. But anyway,
Sweet. Good
worry
job,
about
Dan.
that later. Yeah, I was playing a tournament. I was, wasn't really thinking about it.
You're doing your job here.
Now I
So
am. All right, so we continue, and as you see, Liz calls. I don't think I'm going to be too interested in continuing on most turns. I think I'm mostly going to be like checking the turn here.
well, there are two spades.
Well,
Hey,
guess
that's a
what?
pretty good. I think you're
This is a hell
supposed
of
to
a
bet
turn
this
card.
card.
What'd you say?
I think you're supposed to bet this card for balance, but in practice, it might be better to check it back.
Right. Liz is one of the people I could consider betting because she would assume I'm going to bluff this card if I don't have it, and instead of just insta fold. I think, especially when I'm from my button. But I don't hate a check either. I think it's close. Looks like I am going for value here, and I get called again. Interesting. Let's see what the river is. Kind of a safe river. Assuming she checks, what do you want to do? I guess let's see if she checks. Forget assuming. Okay, she checked.
I think I want to
We have
bet
a
like
2-to-1 stack to
2,800.
pot here,
I want to bet 2,800.
just to try and get called by a queen or a really bad ace, like the ace X
Yeah.
of spades.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. I don't hate that. It's a weird spot, and where like she doesn't really rate to have better aces, so we usually have the best hand, unless she like
Usually.
turned river the 9 with queen 9 or something. Let's see what I do. Looks like I'm going bigger. Yeah, that feels like too much. Oh, I got called instantly. Wow. I guess she had an ace. Ace
Yeah,
X of
maybe
spades. It
ace.
must have been ace X of spades, right?
Could have even been ace 10 of spades. But when you get
Well, if
called
she had
that
ace 10 of
fast,
spades, it's a brilliant bet.
when you get called that fast, you don't feel too good about it.
I mean, it's so hard for me to be behind unless she has queen 9 or ace 9. I'm winning though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I'd be
but
concerned
you're
about.
right. She called so fast. It's not ideal. That's true. All right, I think we're back to like an actual final table here. You see, we've got like different seats than we had before. Liz isn't there anymore. Wonka's now. You're on my immediate right. Wonka's 2 to my right. Hey, it's you against
Yeah.
me.
We had some battles. I remember this.
Yeah, we did. You remember this hand? I don't remember this hand
Nope.
at all.
I
Okay, good.
don't.
Oh, I remember this hand now. Oh, I'm glad. Let's talk about this hand. This is a good hand.
All
Okay,
right. You should
so
probably fold just because your opponent outclasses you in skill to such an extent that any move you make, he will have anticipated years ago. So it might be better to not try to do anything, you know?
I mean, it's not entirely untrue based on how I play this hand that may be correct.
Okay, great. I'm excited.
I mean, let's watch what happens here. So you min bet, and I feel like I can't fold with a gutter to a
All right.
min bet.
So
You know,
my range here is everything, basically. I mean, like, I'm going to have some checks, but I could be betting air. I could
sure,
be betting any one pair hand. I could be betting any
right?
draw.
Yeah, at this point, like if I hit a 7 on the turn, I feel pretty good about it. You know, I'm obviously not going to fold.
Can't
I
really
decide
raise
just to
against a
call.
completely unknown range that includes a lot of two pair. So you probably can't raise profitably.
Yeah, I just don't know that I need to. Anyway, it's like so cheap. You know, I'm in position. It's pretty great. Turn is a 5, so that
Now you
doesn't
have
help
a
anything.
now you have a long gut shot.
Yeah, that's the best kind. Long man. All right. So I'm pretty sure you check. Yes. Now, here's what I know, and maybe this will make it easier for you to play against me in the future, but I guess we talk about poker for hours every week anyway. I know that when you check here, you either have a complete give up or a hand that is never folding, or you're beating me and you're not folding. Like it's nothing in between. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know that, and I don't really believe you have that many give ups, really. I'm sure you have a few, but like, I think mostly you're just checking a call here.
I have some check raise bluffs too.
Oh, wow.
which
That would be
you
even
know,
worse.
yeah,
So I feel like I just can't bet here. I can't like against a lot of players. I would 100% try and take it away, but I just feel like you are not like it's going to be really hard to win this pot if I bet. So I'm like,
seems
I'm not.
seems correct.
I don't think
Seems
I should bet.
correct.
So I check, and now an ace comes, and I'm pretty sure you check again. Wait for
I'm gonna
it.
take my time.
Yep. You check again, and I'm like, oh God, he has a 10 for sure. Like, you always have a 10 now, right? Like,
It feels like a 10.
yeah. So I sit there for a little while, and I think I'm like, I can't get you to fold the 10. So I just fold, and there's your 10. Yeah.
Check.
I just know
Yeah.
I can't get you to fold. So like, why would I bluff? Why would I do that? Like, what's the point? So I just don't even
Well,
try at all with
two
my
streets
9
would have
high.
worked.
If I went bet, yeah.
Yeah,
But
two streets would have worked.
I just don't need to do that in this hand. Like I put in 2 blinds, like I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to win every pot every time. It's a small pot. But yeah, 2 streets would have worked probably. Anyway, that was a weird one. That's all. Just like to decide not to try to win the pot basically at any point. It's very unusual for me. All right, look at this little puppy. We got a nice little hand here, huh? King 9 of spades on the
Yes.
button. There's Satoshi, the player we've been talking about before, now on my left.
Actually, this is a spot that I hate a lot in poker with a player like Satoshi on your left and a hand that you're like obligated to open on the button, but they're not going to believe your button range, but you'll react the way that they think they were right and you were kind of messing around if they three bet because you'll have to fold. And it's like, no, but I really was supposed to open. I was. You know
Yeah,
what I
there's
mean?
some of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can sometimes 4-bet, but mostly I'm not going to do that with this hand. That's for sure. All right, so we get the check. We flop pretty well. Flop top pair and the gutter.
Scary board though.
Yeah, do you want to bet this? It looks like I checked it.
I think I like checking.
This is these days. This is like what players do, right? Like three to a suit come out. They just like the pre-flop raiser just like checks some crazy high percentage of the time now. So I feel like a heart is really bad, of course, but most other cards are fine. That's a good card for me. He bets.
Well, obviously you have to call.
Yeah, feels super straightforward. Sort of a bricky card. Not super bricky, but sort of bricky.
If this guy bets again, if I remember correctly, this guy was a little bit bluffy, so I think you probably were supposed to call this guy. Against other people, it's close.
Yeah. He is going to bet. I don't remember how much. I know he's going to bet. I remember hating it. I remember really, really not liking him, being pretty sure I was behind. Oh, yeah. Hey, look, he bets pot. Yeah, I hated this spot.
Ooh, you could probably fold even to this guy.
Ah, man. It's one of those spots where, like, there's a lot of cards. I mean, there's just a lot of hands where he could been bluffing the turn with and be taking a big shot on the river because I checked back the flop. I only called the turn. Where he's just like, you just don't have a lot you can call with, bro. I'm going to get you off the ace of hearts, or I'm going to get you off a jack or whatever, jack 10 or whatever. But yeah, I thought about it at least for a little while and really didn't like it. I think I do call ultimately, but I really thought like it may. At the time I think I was like, this could just be a mistake here to call. You see how long I'm taking. Like I often call right away, but I ultimately call with top pair. And I flopped
He's
the
got
flush.
the flush.
Part of it was I was thinking about like how many hands do I have that I check back here that are better than this. Obviously there are some, but this is a pretty good hand for all my check backs.
Well, I don't know if
But
that's
when he bets
true.
pot,
If you're actually
yeah,
employing the strategy that you were talking about on the flop, where a lot of players are checking back monochromatic boards with almost the entirety of their range, then it doesn't land as high in your distribution as you would think.
yeah, that's true. I have like flushes and I have 2-pair and I have straights and I have sets and I have all that stuff. That's fair. There's definitely some of the really strong hands I'm going to bet some of the time. And I'm probably going to take a shot with some of my like complete air hands that have nothing going on, like 4 or 5 of clubs or something too. Like I'm going to bet like a set of queens and 4 or 5 of clubs and, a few things like that. Because he's going to take some shots with like the ace of hearts and
Mm-hmm.
some draws or something. But mostly I'm going to check there. Yeah. Anyway, I remember really hating it and almost folding. But you know, I don't really fold much. I'm not a big folder, so
No, not really.
it's hard for me to fold top pair, and I did not. And this time, it was wrong. It was no good. All right, I think this will be the last thing we do for this video, and then we'll do the rest of this tourney in a second video because I see we're put already a lot of time into this.
Sounds good. Look at that
Cool.
stack Grant has. What a
Yeah,
genius.
it's pretty sweet. My stack is pretty good too. Actually, I'm number 2 in chips, and you're number 1. Look at that.
Yep.
Feels good. I must have had. I guess we missed me chipping up. Must have been just lots of small pots because I would have showed anything really significant or interesting.
How dare you 3-bet me with a hand as weak as ace queen?
I know,
This
against your
this
cutoff
is
range.
rude.
It's one of those spots though where it's like, well, sure hope he doesn't 4-bet.
Yeah, you're gonna have
And
to
I know
fold
you
if I 4-bet.
and I know you have at least a few light 4-bets in you here. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Especially against me. I know you do. But still got to play this hand this way. Like whatever.
Luckily for you, I just called.
Yep.
And you got a terrible flop.
I mean, I think it's a pretty good flop. Like
It's okay. I mean, you can rep over pairs, and I don't have that many.
Like I think my range is beating your range on this board. This is so it's fine. I'd rather have hit an ace or a queen, but you know. So let's size it down here.
I could check raise you with flush draws. You don't block any flush draws. That would kind of suck.
Yep, it would work. But can't just, as Antonio Esfandiari likes to say, there's 7,250 out there. You can't just check. You can't just let him have it.
You just had to include that one in the video, huh?
I think there's going to be at least one more hand next time where I really make you look like a fool. I'm pretty sure there's at least one. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope so. I remember playing one hand where I like triple barrel you with air, and it works at the end, and it was amazing. And I hope it's in here. I'm not sure if it is, but I hope so.
Well, let's find out next on the next tourney journey. But for now, this one is finished with. Okay. It's over.